delaying this particular dashboard. So I've been busy for a while now. So I've been actually doing automation. I've been actually doing some automations for a particular business brand. So that is why I've been busy. So today I will just quickly do the dashboard and I will go through everything that you need to know about how to build a dashboard using Power BI, how you can link your SQL Server to Power BI. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to know is that first thing you need to do is uh, bring on your Power BI. So search for your Power BI. Then this is my Power BI. Then open your Power BI. So once your Power BI is opened, go to SQL Server. This is SQL Server. So you go to SQL Server. So you wait for it to load. Wait for it to load. Then it will bring in something like this: SQL Server database. It will bring server. It will bring database, and it will bring connectivity mode and other thing. So you just go to your SQL Server here, and you need to copy your only server. So you need to copy your server, which is here. Mine is daily/SQL Server. So you need to copy your own. So here is mine. So now, what about the database? You can easily specify which database you want to go for. So, but basically, I would just say sometimes you don't need to, because you can actually you once you your server is the most important thing. Your database will be shown, and you can easily go and pick the database you want to work with. So let's and here other things here. Just leave it the way it is. Then press OK and wait for it to load. So it's already loading. So our SQL Server is here. So now you can just press to open to drop down so that you can see all your database. So you need to wait for it to load. Now that our database has been opened, you need to go to the database you want to work with. Then you need to select the data, which is here, clean sales data. Then you need to go, you don't load. You can either load, you can either transform. Basically, I'll prefer that you just transform before you load. Just check what is happening before you do any other thing. So you just transform, then it will load into Power Query Editor. So currently we are now in Power Query Editor. You wait for it to load in Power Query Editor. Now, here is how our Power Query Editor looks like. So now we have valid, error, empty, and all our data is 100% valid. So, and here, let's check here. So it's date. Every other thing in this database is quite nice. I don't think there's an error that we need to check. So our database is quite okay. So what we need to do is just load it to our our Power BI. So we just need to load it to our Power BI. So it's already loading. You just have to wait for it to load. So our data has been loaded to the Power Query. So you need to just go to this table view to view the table so that you can see if the data is correctly loaded. Yeah. So currently we are having ship mode, segment, order date, and sales. So what again do we need? So here we can as well change. Basically, we can come to this place and change the formats. You can see you can change the format to, since it is general, you can just change it to currency. So it depends on you. You can just change it to currency so that it can actually show currency. And here is okay. You don't need to, except if you want to change it otherwise, but you don't need to do anything again. So after you've changed this to currency, you can just maintain the fact that we can have just since you can do decimal point to just two. You can just do decimal point to two, not or prefer two, not one. You can just come here and do decimal point to two, because some are having even more than three, some are having four. So you can just change the decimal point to two. And now here is actually very cool and very nice. So what we need to do is now to go to our model view and see how our model is been. So here is our model view. And what we need to do here in our model view is to create a new table. We need a new table for our date, what's it called, calendar table. We need a new calendar table. So we're going to go to new table here and right here. So this is calendar and equal to. So what we need to do is add column. So sorry. So you need to go back and So go hard column and then go down and then put calendar, then you just do. So instead of start dates, I would prefer to do, you can just do start dates. Some people will just do start dates. So to me, I'll prefer mean and into, so you go to which particular parts we are doing, what's it called, other dates. So you just need to close this and comma, need to do max and into other dates. So, and you need to close it. So next thing is you go down and you say year. You need to specify which year. So it has to be like this. Which year? So you need to say okay, year into, then you say dates into dates into dates. So what you need to just do is year into dates and okay, into dates, and you close it. So also, we are not only checking year, we are also working with month. Let's say quarter. You want to check for quarter. So you need to put comma, and you say, so you need to understand that quarter. You don't want to write it in full. You just say quarter. So and you just have to put it like this, and you say format, format. So dates and comma into quarter. You need to format it into quarter, and you close it. And you go again. You say month number. We need month number. We need month number. So you need month number, comma, and you need months. And the next thing is you have dates, and you close it. So, and what again we need to is month name. You format. Just go here and do month name formats, and you do dates. Then here is somehow tricky. For month name, we want it to be somehow July. If you want it to be written full, you can do MMMM, which is going to be full. Here we don't want it to be written in full. I just want it to be written in and not in full. So what we just need to do here is just write MM, just 3M. So and you need to put it like this, and then you go again and say month short. Okay, you can put month short. You can put, so let's do, okay, let's do full. So let's do full. Okay, we can actually add one more to here and say month short. That is short name, month short. Though I don't usually put month short, but I just want to add it for the sake of adding format, and you add value, and which is going to be date, month short formats. Then you have dates, sorry, you have dates, you had that, and here you do MMM. You can write it the way you like, just GP is okay, MMM, and cover it. So what again do we need to have? Okay, let's do let's do year month. Okay, let me quickly write this thing and explain every other thing. So I've been able to write every other thing. So what we added was I added year months, formatted with it year and month. I added week number, which is just number of the week. I added this. So I added day name. So I added the short day name. I added each weekend. You see how all these things will work out. So let's click here to save. So yeah, our table has been created. Then what we need to do is just link it with um, these dates. So we go to other dates and we do the relationship with this. So let's put it at many at one, the way you want it. It depends on the way you really want it. You can change it is you can use you can do the way you want. So here we can only do we can do many as one. So the only one that is better is just many to one. So that is many of these to just one of these. So you can just do many to one. So you can, although you can do one to many or you can do many to one, depending on what you want to do. So let's go to this place and see how it is. So here is the calendar. So you can see how the calendar really works. You can see how the calendar works. So let's check for the year. How many years are we going with? We are 2013 to 2016. So you can see how everything works. You can see how the short date work. Instead of writing Monday in full, it's right month. So instead of writing January in full, it's right Jan. So you can see how. So is it weekend? Now here we are saying if this is weekend or it's not weekend. So all these places that we are having first, they are not weekend, they are weekdays. So anytime it has weekend, it will write true, it will bring true. So you can see how everything works. So now what we need to do again now is to create some measures. We need to create measures. So by creating measures, what we need to do before we create measures is we need to just add a table called metrics. So you can add a table called metrics, just write metrics, and that's all. You just need to write metrics, and that's all. Metrics, and that's all. So you need to just write metrics, and that's all. So you can see metrics is here. So you can click here to add measures, or you can go to here and add measures. So what are the measures that we want to add? We want to add the total sales. So let's say total sales equal to uh, total sales is sum into now what are they? Are the things that we want to sum sales here. We want to sum everything together. So we want to sum all these one together. So we now have total sales here. So we need to add another one, which is we need to add more measures. So we need to add more measures. So now we want to add a total orders. So which is count row, count row, and what rows are we counting here? We are counting the entire row of sales. Yeah, we are counting the entire rows of sales. So that's it. We just need to count rows, the entire rows of sales. So now we have total order. Here we have total sales and we have total order. So we can come to this particular bar to test them out. So you can just bring in you can bring in matrix or you bring in card. It depends on whatever you want to do. You just bring in okay, let's just bring in new card and add total sales, total order to the data and see how it will display. So we have 82 orders, and if you had more, let's add another one and see the total sales. So we have now the total sales is 391.72k. So here is 82 sales and 391.72 sales. All right, that's the total sales. All right, let's see how everything works. So we are still working. We still want to add more. We still need to add more to this. All right, so I've added more metrics. So I added growth order. So this is growth order. So current growth order and previous growth. So I calculated the current order, which is the total order, and I did the previous order, which is per year. So also I did order per year, which is calculate total orders based on years. So I did sales growth, same thing with order growth, and I did sales per year, which is the same thing like here. And I guess we are set to go. You can just put it here. So you don't need to match this particular matrix with any column here because there's no column you want to match it with. So we only have calendar, which is with the other data. So what we need to do is just build a dashboard. So now that we've been able to um, build relationship in our data and create new table and create new measures or metrics. So one thing I would like us to do is just to build visualization, that is build our visuals, or which is also your dashboard. But before I go, the dashboard we are going to be building is going to be a very simple dashboard. No, no, any importing, no nothing from. So every detail, every dashboard we are going to be building is going to be from Power BI. We're not going to be importing any external thing to Power BI. Also, I would have loved to explain as I'm building this particular dashboard, but basically because of the time, because I'm trying to manage my time and I'm trying to manage each and every time. I don't want it to be as long as possible. I want it to be as short as possible. And so I'll just not explain, and you can as well follow suit as I'm actually building the dashboard. You can as well see the steps that I move, and also there might be some errors that I will be making, that I will be making adjustment with. So you can as well check it out and the way I'm making an adjustment. And at the end, you're going to see the end result of the dashboard that I built, and I'll also be sharing you the picture or the PNG file or PNG format of the dashboard I built at the end of the show. Also, you can as well build your own. You can use your own style. You can do anything that you want. Yeah, depending on how you feel your insight actually needs to be delivered. So it's you, as I'm using this particular few metrics that I'm using. So you can go as extent of using as much as possible metrics. You can go as much as building uh, something more explainable or informative more than mine, but this is just a whole lot for it, just a training section. So it won't be more than this. So join me as I build the dashboard. wrap now. So we've been able to build a retail dashboard showing the revenue and orders. We have year-over-year growth and monthly sales trend and many others, which we were able to use several visuals. We were able to use the donut chart. We were able to use the line chart for monthly trend. We were able to use bar charts, or let's say stack charts. You're able to use cluster column, or yeah, I'll call it cluster column. So it's not like a bar, but it's a cluster column. So we're able to use performance by shape mode, and also we're able to filter by year. So one thing is this is just a simple dashboard, a very simple dashboard that was built. Every designs was made from Power BI. And one thing I always recommend is that you don't need to break your neck to build a dashboard. In as much your dashboard is speaking the real value, is speaking insight, has a detailed insight. You don't need to break your bone, break your back to build a very ambiguous dashboard. Only if you have the time to build something more aesthetical, you understand. But you should be able to build something more presentable that people can easily look at and can easily know what is happening in your dashboard. So here we're able to build very something very simple. So you should also cultivate building something simple, a very simple dashboard, not something more ambiguous, not something more strenuous that might actually not even give any detail or any insight at all. So when you are building your dashboard, always understand the fact that simple and steady and more insightful is the goal as a data analyst. Simple, more insightful, more informative dashboard is the goal when you're building a dashboard. So we are going to be rounding up this particular section, and I would like to say a very big thank you for those who joined the section. So for those who want to join the mentorship program, you can as well join because it is still open. Our mentorship program start by October 1st. Thank you and God bless.